All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division and the 147-pound division at the same time, where Devin Haney reacts and gets a little defensive about Jaron Ennis, who is now the IBF champion of the world, as Jaron Ennis was called an email champion, or should I say, not called an email champion, while Devin Haney was under similar but not exact circumstances. And Devin says, and I'm still being hated on to this day. We are going to talk about whether or not Devin Haney is really on point, whether his situation and Jaron Ennis' situation is really the same thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to talk about a very false comparison being made between Jaron Ennis and Devin Haney and the way that they became world champions. Devin Haney responds or reacts to a statement that is made on Twitter from a very big YouTube channel and a very big presence. Shall not say their name, like them very much. Actually, I'll say it because they're really good dudes. The Boxing Voice. Shout out to Ness. Shout out to my guy that I've never met him, actually, the co-host of that show. But they do really good work. No slight on them whatsoever, believe it. Where they put out on their tweet that, hey, Jaron Ennis is basically something to the effect of Jaron Ennis is not being called a email champion, while Devin Haney, when he was given the belt, was called an email champion. It's amazing how people get treated differently under the same circumstances. I'm paraphrasing, right? Or people are selective with the hate and who they hate. Now, there's one thing that they, which is definitely true. People are very selective about who they hate. That ain't no lie. 100%. People are very selective and very, very inconsistent with criticisms and the bases by which they make the criticism. But in this instance, I ain't buying it. And I'm going to let you know, nah. This is apples and oranges. And number one, it ain't even true. Okay. Gonna do this for you. But before I do, let me say these few things real briefly because they're very important to the channel. Thank you so much to everybody that joined as a channel member. Thank you guys very, very much. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you to everybody that supports, and the super thanks in videos like this, because it sponsors the video and allows us to continue to do the work. And thank you to everybody that comes by the live stream for these heated debates that nobody wants with me. People, you talk a lot in those comment sections. And then I say, I'm available on the live streams every day of the week from roughly 8 a.m. Central Standard Time to around, a lot of times all the way up to noon, chopping it up with people about boxing. You do a lot of talking in the comment section. You never show up to talk to me and debate these points that you are so passionate about there, because I'm more than willing to do it. But buyers beware. The smoke may choke you. But anyway, that said, I got to do it because I need for you to show up. I need for you to come by because I like the conversations, but it'll be better to put a voice to a voice since you're so passionate. And that's your opportunity to do so. But let's look at this comparison between Devin Haney and Jaron Ennis, and the notion that Jaron Ennis is not being treated the same way as Devin Haney, and woe is Devin once again. I don't agree with that. First of all, I have heard, as soon as I made a video about Jaron Ennis getting Errol Spence Jr., getting Terrence Crawford's IBF title handed to him, I immediately heard, is he an email champion? Tell me this is an email champion. This is an email champion. This is an email champion. I heard it a bunch of times. So I saw it on my live stream. I saw it on my YouTube comment sections on this channel. I saw it on my Twitter page. I didn't see it on Instagram because I didn't put anything up on Instagram, but I've seen it. So I don't know where this notion is that Jaron Ennis is not being called an email champion. This whole email thing started, by the way, with Jermall Charlo. Not Devin Haney, Jermall Charlo. When Jermall was given the WBC title, when they elevated, that's going to be a key word in a second here, folks, elevated to the franchise championship belt. Okay, so it didn't start with Devin, it started with Jermall, then Devin. Now it's being put on Jaron Ennis. Now, let me tell you the difference, though. Before I tell you the difference, let me tell you my take on it. I personally didn't call any of them email champions. I didn't illegitimize any of their championships, because when you're the champion, you're the champion. You're named the champion of the champion. It is what it is. For whatever reason, there's reasons why fights don't happen, and the sanctioning body and boxing fans have to move on. So if somebody moves up and fights for a vacant belt, boom, they're the champion. Now, what is the interesting thing here is that the comparison between Devin Haney, also Jermall, and Jaron Ennis are apples and oranges. In the case of Devin Haney and Jermall Charlo, they were not the champion of that division. What happened to them was they were elevated from an interim championship because the champion in the division was elevated to something called the franchise champion. So they were not even the primary champion according to the WBC in the division. They just said, hey, we're going to put one on top. We got to move everybody up. Lomachenko, according to the WBC, was still the champion when Devin Haney was moved from interim to WBC titles. Canelo Alvarez was still the WBC champion, according to the WBC. He was just moved up. What's the difference here? The difference here with Jaron Ennis is that Jaron Ennis is the full champion. And why is he the full champion? Because the champion said he wouldn't fight him. The champion said he wouldn't fight him. Not just failed to fight him on time, or it took too long because Terrence Crawford is going to 154 and he's going to fight. No, Terrence Crawford let it be known that he was not fighting Jaron Ennis. He let it be known that he was not looking to defend titles at 147 anymore. He was going to 154. Those are not, even though the word champion is involved in all three scenarios, when you just lift the cover and you look into the engine and the pieces and the machinery behind what is actually happening that is causing what you see that they're entirely different engines. One was motivated by the elevation of somebody who actually was the champion and still is the champion in that weight class. So when somebody says, you're just an email champion, I don't like the term email champion. They're the WBC world champion, but they're not the actual champion. They're not the number one guy in that division, in that sanctioning body. Canelo was, Lomachenko was. Devin became that when he beat George Kambosos. With Jaron, Terrence Crawford was never going to fight him. He'd been the mandatory for like 2 years. He was the interim title for like a year, for over a year. He was the guy that was supposed to be the mandatory pushing on 2 years. And Terrence Crawford wasn't going to fight him for another year. So what do you want him to do? You think this guy should have to wait 3 years? Especially a guy like Jaron Ennis with that level of talent and that level of potential for the sport of boxing? I think not. It was necessary for the IBF to move on after all the delays that had been taking place in getting fighters fighting in that division for several years now. And the delay was not for a bad reason. The delay was for a good reason, to get the undisputed title. But hey, now that was achieved and the undisputed title said that he's not going to, a titleist says he's not going to defend it, it's time to push on. It's apples and oranges. But still, the basis of it, everybody was being called names. Not just Devin, Not just Devin, both Devin, Jamal, and Jaron, even though Jaron's situation is different than both of those. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.